Won't you come and stay?
Hello, this is Justin here, aka at When You Were Little, and I thought this would be a fun video to explore a little heart history. I have a new book coming out, which is actually the third heart book, and it is a Patreon exclusive. It should be out now by the time you're watching this, and it's called Couch. And a little more on that later, but I thought I would talk about the first two books, starting with this book, Heart, the one that kicked everything off. This was a Kickstarter project I started, and I think 2012 is when it's either 2012 is when I came up with the idea, and I feel like 2014 is when I did the Kickstarter, but I could be wrong. I wanted to tell a story about fitting in, and these were all feelings I had in high school, not being able to fit in. I felt like I was different, and it wasn't until I started making children's books that I found a way to really express these feelings I had the 4 years I was in high school. So at one point, I felt like the Thump character who had friends and was, I wouldn't say popular, but at least known. High school came, and I ended up feeling more like LB, and I felt like I didn't fit anywhere. And high school was kind of rough for me, so I wanted to express that some way creatively. It was also done entirely in watercolor, which was something new for me at the time, and I felt like it was a good fit for the story I wanted to tell. If you look further back here, here's some concept art, and I legitimately thought about doing the book like this, just very rough and sketchy, to sort of mirror the feelings of not feeling perfect. You know, whenever I post concept art like this, I always tag it rough stuff. That's kind of what this book was. It was just a bunch of rough stuff, rough feelings and ideas, and trying to find out like where I fit. Towards the end of writing this is when I met my wife, and I think being with her and like starting a relationship with her helped me finish it in the way that I wanted to, because I think I was just writing all this stuff down and like not really having an end game. Meeting her helped me sort of realize that if this person digs me the way I am, then I found sort of the catharsis I needed to feel whole. And so yeah, this is the first book. It's probably what I'm most known for, which is super cool. This was the book that sort of launched me into the realm of self-publishing and print on demand and do it yourself. And I'm super happy and proud of this book. And I thought it was done. There was no intention of making a sequel, but when I did, it ended up becoming this book, which I used the drawing challenge of Inktober that was created by Jake Parker as a reason, or not a reason, but as a way to come up with an idea for a sequel. The sequel came from the many first dates, or not even many first dates, the many dates I went on with my now wife. The way these ideas came about is just wanting to share these really fun experiences I've had with this person. And so I used Inktober as a reason to play with these characters again. And I already knew what I wanted to do. Like most things, I try to keep it real simple and to the point. I try not to make it super fancy because it's all about the story and it's all about the message. I knew it was going to be black and white. I knew that I was going to draw every panel or page on a 4x4 square. And I knew that there weren't going to be any words. A lot of the stuff that is in here comes from many conversations and dates and things. And there's a little nods here to How I Met Your Mother, which is a show that sort of put us together as a couple. And I tend to tip my hat to that show a lot. whenever I make anything heart related. And this was fun. Like, it was fun to come up with here's Back to the Future 2. I just wanted to draw Biff Tannen. But it was fun to, I'm pretty sure this number here, this 429, has a significance, but for the life of me, I can't remember it now. This is my favorite spread. I wanted to tell like a story, like a real fun story about like all the funny things that would happen on dates with Nicole. Like where she would eat all the popcorn, and I didn't know she had a huge love for ice cream. And this she actually did. She actually did this Beast Challenge. She did not win. We ended up finishing it together. But yeah, so this was a nice sequel to the Heart book. It was like they get together and they start hanging out, and then they go on their first official first date, which is this book here. I did a small print run. I didn't want to go all crazy with it and do like a massive production. Basically printed the pages myself and stapled them together. I feel like this was maybe 2017. I'm going to say 2017. So this was 2012. And then 5 years later, I mean, that makes sense. That was enough time of... I have collected a lot of memories of dates with Nicole to, you know, kind of fuel this idea of doing 31 drawings representing those dates. And then here we are now, 3 years later, and we're here with Couch, which is a Patreon exclusive, and it's more in the same vein of First Date. Here's all the original pages here. So I did 24 drawings. I was actually really into Murder Balloon, and I knew that once I was done with that, I wanted to come back to this. So I used all of last winter to really finish this. And it wasn't even going to be a book. The very first drawing I did, a couch drawing I ever did, was this. Because this literally happened. It happens all the time. Like Nicole will fall asleep while we're watching a movie. And As You Wish is from The Princess Bride. And this was the one and only time I think we celebrated Valentine's Day. We both bought each other The Princess Bride. Well, actually, I think she bought me The Princess Bride, and I bought myself The Princess Bride. And so, anyways, I drew this like 2 years ago, and I was like, oh, this is funny. And I didn't think to turn it into anything. Like, this was just an image. And then I thought of the idea of, what if I drew a series of these, kind of like those Love Is strips, but all from the same point of view, from behind the TV. And there were no thought bubbles or word balloons, just what was coming out of the TV. And it was sort of a nod to just all the things we watched when we were living together. Then it started taking shape, and I said, oh, I think this might be a thing. And so I started roughing out ideas for like panels like this, just all one panel. This is like a 6x8, and so the image inside's a 5x7. And I originally had like 28 or 32 of these planned, and I was like, I'm gonna make this my new book. Well, if I release it as a book, then I feel like that'll be over, you know? And I was like, I wanted to find a way to like take some time and really explain all the drawings and like give you little fun facts and behind the scenes stories of each image and why we're watching the things we're watching. Like, again, another nod to How I Met Your Mother. I didn't think about it until a few of my art friends started their Patreons, and I thought the format would be perfect for this because I can do all the art and put it all together, and then like really take the time to give like a director's commentary about each image and just make it more intimate and more personal, rather than just sticking it together, binding it, having someone flip through it and then be done with it. I wanted to share, more of my personal experiences and through the guise of these characters of Thump and LB. Now that these characters are sort of growing up and evolving in their relationship in these books, I felt like they've taken on more of Nicole and I's personas. And so I threw everything into these panels, all these little nods to us living together. And yeah, I mean, this is the new book. This is Couch. It's out now. You can go to patreon.com/whenyouwerelittle, and the book is like in 6 chapters, and they're divided up in a way that sort of tells the story of Thump and LB moving in together, and then the first big piece of furniture they buy as a couple, as roommates, is this couch. And then they pretty much live on that couch for like a whole year, because it's the thing that they bought together. It's theirs. They own it. And truly, like, the idea also came from, there's like a scene in the movie, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. There's a scene where they buy a mattress and they basically like live on that mattress. They like never bought a frame. They just threw it on the floor, and like they would eat dinner there. They would watch TV there, watch movies there. They would basically live on that mattress. And I felt like when Nicole and I got this couch, we basically lived on it for a whole year. Like, we never slept in the bedroom or the bed. We like fell asleep on the couch and would get up, go to work, and then just be back on that couch. These characters and the stories that I'm telling have evolved from like a traditional book, drawing challenge, and then this idea of online exclusive content. The way to tell the stories is changing and evolving, and it keeps these characters fresh, and it makes them more than one-dimensional. I mean, they're very simplistic in design. It was intended that way, but as I find new ways to tell their story, it gets more complex, and I don't know, it's cool. I'm super excited and super proud of Couch and First Date and Heart, but it's really cool to see that, like, you can't really get this in like a box set. Like, there's no box set collection of the Heart books, because they're all in different mediums, they're all different shapes and sizes, and like really that feels like it's a representation of the original story about being different, and not everyone's all the same, and it's good that people are all different, and fit in where you want and just be yourself. Each of these projects are unique in their own way, and I think that's what's so special about them. So enough ranting and raving, but I hope you enjoyed this Heart history. I hope I didn't talk too much, but you can this is out of print, but you can still buy copies of Heart online at my online store. Just go to whenyouwerelittle.art, and if you're interested and curious into sort of the life and times of Thump and LB on the couch, you can subscribe to Patreon at patreon.com/whenyouwerelittle. I think at the time of this video's release, maybe the first 2 chapters are out by now, so you can subscribe and catch up. And I will talk to you all later. Thank you for listening to me rant and stutter and sputter my way through this video. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Let's have a little art too.